Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Zelp and today we are going to test our theory from the past few videos. Basically, we created some form of viral multiplier that we can use to compare with other multipliers like critical and maybe multi-shot or serration type damage multiplier or even the elements. Now the thing here is that so far what we have done, we have created a table from the last episode. Now create a table where it tells you on this particular hit, let's say the 11 hit is going to do this much multiplier. So therefore, if you want to compare which weapon is the best, you need to take into account how much damage it has done previously and find the average. In a way, it's very similar to the first method that we did that kind of failed, but then this time we take into account the number of attacks. So you're going to understand what this means and how to use this whole spreadsheet table thing in just a sec. And we also have one which is on critical, because one of the most common questions is that, like, let's say you have modded your weapon as high as you want, and normally you want to have as many multipliers as you can. This means that you have your elements, you have maybe attack speed, but in this case we're not actually taking attack speed into account. Then you have your damage acceleration, so just assume that you have serration here, you have split chamber on, you know, your what maybe faction mods on, things like that. And let's say you have 2 more slots to go. Would you go for a critical build or would you go for a status build? So for status, maybe you want to put 2 dual stat mods. Now currently the changes on the rifle amp, it's really good, because I mean, like 90% status chance, that is really nice. But however, if I were to use this mod, I don't really know what to pair it with. So today we are going to compare with 2 dual stat mods versus 2 critical mods. And for rifle, 2 main critical mods is going to be point strike and vital sense, because they give you a lot of value. Now because dual stat mods has the elemental aspect of it as well, we have to put in things that you might have already in, like for example 2 90% elemental damage mods. This is so that it kind of balances out, so that when you have the dual stat element in, it doesn't actually increase the multiplier that much, and it will increase according to what you most likely already have. Because if I were to remove this 2 and we're comparing between critical and 2 dual stat mods that has an element in it, it's like introducing another multiplier when there is none to begin with. So right now we already have the multiplier on. By putting the dual stat mods in, it's just increasing that multiplier by a little bit. The effect is not that great, and I feel like this is sort of like what most people would already be doing. So this 2 might be serration and split chamber, so you have only 2 slots left. What would you want to put? Now the weapon that we'll be using is the HEMA, and the reason why is because it does mainly viral damage. Someone pointed this out in the comments that I am doing my theory crafting based on the fact that I'm only doing viral damage, and that is true, because if you factor in too many other factors, you can't really do your simulation or your theory crafting accurately. Because if you really think about it, the status chance over here applies to whatever damage type that you have, so it's not just on viral. So therefore it doesn't really work the way that we planned unless we are doing only viral damage. However, with that said, you can kind of divide the status chance to the different weights that you have on the different damage types. So let's say if you have another damage type that's doing the exact same amount of damage, so then in that case your 25% status is going to proc, but which one will it proc, viral or the other status, is going to be half-half. So it's going to be 50-50. You can actually divide it in that sense and think how much viral is going to help you. Now, but for the whole purpose of today's video is we're going to do a simple test with the HEMA to see if our spreadsheet or our theory crafting is correct and if it can be applied in a practical use. So again, what we're going to do today is we're going to compare with 2 critical, and after that we're going to switch over to 2 dual stat mods that creates or turns into viral as well. So which one right now do you guys think that is going to win between critical and 2 dual stat mods? Now if I were to remove my critical, you can actually see the base critical is really low. It's only at 11% with a multiplier of 2, and its base status is really high at 25%. So I feel like naturally you're gonna feel like, oh, definitely the status is gonna win because, you know, having dual stat mod is gonna boost it a lot more or something like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you could pause the video right now. Okay, so over here we have 5 charger that I'm gonna simulate at level 160. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot it until it dropped and see how many hits it takes to kill it. Now there is a problem with the HEMA is that it shoots 3 at a time, right? So it's going to be hard to identify which exactly is the bullet that killed it, but we are going to somehow take an average, so I feel like it's not going to jump off too far. So just keep in mind there will be a plus minus 3 hits probably, unless I really slow down the image and see or identify which is the bullet that does the killing, which I don't have the time for, but hopefully it's not gonna matter that much. We're gonna shoot at hopefully not the weak spot as well, something that we want to take note of, otherwise we're going to get an extra multiplier, which is unfair. So I'm going to aim at the butt. I feel like the weak point is probably the head below his chin. I'm not really sure, to be honest. So let's hit the butt. Ready, set, go. I need to shoot as fast as I can to make sure that the okay, 27. So as I was saying, I want to shoot as fast as I can to make sure that I don't have my viral expire before it kills the enemy. And that is also one of the reasons why I have 2 fire rate mods on. Okay, so we're gonna go for the next one. So just now the first one was 27. Oh, about 27 as well. Let's go for the next one. Oh, I think that was 27. I think I clicked extra. It's been pretty consistent so far, I think. Oh, 24, right. Okay. 24. Okay, so 224, 327. If I was to take my calculator, which I'm doing right now, 27 times 3 plus 24 times 3, times 2. We get 129 and divided by 5. So the average is 25.8. Now, if you take 60, which is the maximum clip that I have, minus the answer, you get an average about 34.2 hits. Okay, so 34.2 hits on average with a critical build. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to dual stat mods. But what's interesting is before we switch, I want to predict what the outcome is. And that's the whole point of having these calculator stuff spreadsheet, is so that you can actually tell what you might actually foresee. So over here, I've already prepared. This is for the critical build. I've already put in the critical chance of the HEMA, the critical damage of the HEMA, and then the mods that we have on: critical chance, point strike, and this is vital sense. And this is the outcome, which you can also see over here. 27.5, 4.4. There you go, 27.5, 4.4. And then we can actually put in the values here. Now we have 2 elemental mods at 90%. This means we have a 1.8 or 180% elemental multiplier damage. Then for our critical, we're going to take this one because it's with the mods. So we're going to put over here 0.935, right? So in case you guys don't know what this is, I made a video about it when I created the critical multiplier calculator thing. So feel free to check it out. Maybe I'll put a card on or something. And then now we come to the viral status. The weapon itself has a 25% proc chance, and since it only has viral, it's going to proc viral at 25%. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our new spreadsheet that we did yesterday and calculate it from here. So this is 25%, okay, proc chance. Over here is actually the proc chance. I didn't do it really well, so you might be confused. Here is the number of hits, okay. So at 25, the average was 34.2. So that means on about 34 or 35 hits, around here. Okay, so from here all the way to the top, this is the total amount of damage that you've done. So what we need to do is we need to take these values and put it and find the average to find the multiplier. So let me show you how this is going to be done. You get the sum of these 25, right? and then you divide by the number of hits. So in this case, we have 35 hits on average. So you can put 35 in, and it'll give you the average damage, and it's going to calculate the viral multiplier. So it's 1.758, so we're going to put it as 1.76, right? So come over here, we're going to put over here 1.76. This is the average multiplier given, and we get a 14.95. 14.95. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to paste the value, and I'm going to paste it as value only. And we're going to write or label this as crit. Okay, crit builds, right? Okay, now we're going to calculate what will happen if we have a non-crit build. So let's go over. I also want to write down the number of hits. So the average was 32.4.2. Sorry, 34.2. Okay, this is the average number of hits. Okay, now what we can do is we are going to calculate what happens if we have tool stat mods. So it's going to be this one and this one. Okay, now this value is going to drop, and we still need to take into account the critical multiplier when it's at its base, and then we need to increase our status to 55% and see what happens, not forgetting that we also need to increase our elemental as well by 100 and add an extra 120 to this too. So let's start doing that. So over here, if you take this, you add another extra 120, you're gonna get 300. So it's a 3 over here. Now your critical is the weapon stats without mods, so it's this one. So over here I'm going to put 0.11, and then finally the viral. So the viral, again, you have to come back to this page, and then you have to think. Now it's doing 55. Was it 55 status chance? Yes, 55. So 55 if I took the same amount of hits that I did. So let's say I remove this, right, and I take from 35 hits. Oh, where's 55 again? 55 is this column. 35 is... am I at the right spot? I feel like I need to implement lines or something so that we can see clearly. Okay, from here to here, enter, we get the average. So we actually get a viral multiplier of 2.53. Okay, 2.53. Let's add it in over here. 2.53. Enter. And well, guess what? According to this whole theory crafting thing, I should do just a little. Actually, it's not a lot. It's not even 1. It's barely. It's less than 10% of a difference. So it's actually going to do a very close damage amount. But it seems like going status for this weapon is better than going for critical, and then we're going to try it in practice and we're going to see. So I'm going to write over here status, right, built, and then we are going to copy this. We're going to put in the values, and we're going to measure how many hits it actually takes. So it should be less according to this, but even if it's not, it just means that we could be really lucky with the 5 testing, or really unlucky with the next 5 testing and things like that, but hopefully we get what we predict. Okay, so we're gonna bring this to, and if the value changes too much, we know that something must be wrong. So this is kind of how we can check, I guess. Okay, simulate new chargers. Here we go. Again, we need to shoot the butt. Okay, ready, set, go. 30. Okay, 30. This means that we actually kill it faster, so it is still somewhat in what we expected. Oh, 33. It's actually really fast. Okay. Come on. If we get something a little bit lower, I think I extra clicked this one, so it's supposed to be 4 plus. It should be 27. This should be 27. It's a vehicle outside. I'm just waiting for it to go past real quick. Okay, next one. Oh, I forgot to. Oh no, I forgot to reload. Okay, we're gonna resummon one more. I think I extra clicked this one as well. So it's 27. I'm going to resummon one more because I forgot to reload just now. And it's not accurate because we don't know exactly how much it was. So we have a 30, 33, 27, 20, 24, right? So we need one more. Or is it 27 again? 30. Oh, okay. So if I were to use my calculator, I'm gonna type 30 plus 30 plus 33 plus 27 plus 27, right? And if I were to divide that by 5, we're gonna get 29.4. So 29.4, if I take 60 minus that answer, is going to be the average, which is about 30.6, about 31. Okay, so what does this mean? Let's go back out over here. So it took about 31 hits, or since we have decimal here, let's put the decimal in as well. So about 36. Okay, so it took less to kill because the damage is supposed to be more. So it does kind of make sense because this one does more damage, so therefore it takes less hits to kill, and this one does less damage, so it takes more hits to kill. So one thing I want to let you guys know is that these two cannot be compared that way. The reason why is because yes, these two can be compared because they're both the amount of damage done when you do roughly about 35 hits. Okay, however, this two is not. This two is the number of hits. So this one is when it does 35 hits and you get this amount. This one is 30 and you don't actually get this amount. So if it's only like 31 hits, then you have to come back to the viral states multiplier, and then you go over to the 55% and you drag all the way to 31, which is over here, and then you add these up, divide by 31, and you'll get this multiplier. I've already done it. If you take a look over here, it's already done. Divide by 31, and then you'll get this multiplier. If you take this multiplier, put it into this part, you'll see that for this attack, I'm actually doing this much. So what you can do is you can, let me just copy this real quick and maybe paste it over here. So what you can do is you can try and find the ratio difference between these two and see if it makes sense for the ratio difference between these two, and see how much different it is. Now again, all these things are based on probability. You could get really lucky in that 5 hits or not, and the more sample size you do by right according to the theory that we came up with, it should come down to a similar value. With that, I'm actually going to end this video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think this is a good way of comparing, and should I start making my all-in-one build calculator thing for you guys? Also, should I start a next project where we try to find a multiplier for maybe corrosive, maybe for heat proc, maybe even for electric? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.